1 year and 1 day before his assassination was live streamed, Charlie Kirk was in the economic war room. It was episode 312. It was recorded on September 11th. Of course, we had no idea he'd be martyred. We really didn't even know that he would have the impact that he did in electing Donald Trump last year. This 31-year-old man literally altered the course of human history before he was killed. But amazingly, he may have had more impact in his death than he did in his life, and that's truly astounding. I first heard of Charlie Kirk from a dear friend, a woman who was the same age as my mother, but really more like a sister, Miss Joy. She was the Steinway dealer of Chicago. She made the very first donation to a 17-year-old kid named Charlie. She knew immediately he would change the world, and she told me so. We talked and prayed over the phone almost every day. Miss Joy went to be with the Lord a few years ago, but her birthday was September 10th. I can visualize her in heaven at the front of the line to greet Charlie as it was her birthday when he died. I was with Charlie Kirk many times over the years. We were both convocation speakers at Liberty University in January 2020 before COVID hit. We saw him at AmFest, NRB, CPAC. He invited my wife Marty and me to go with him and a small group to pray for President Trump before the last election. He was a great supporter of the projects we did, writing a cover note for my book, Pirate Money. He texted congratulations when we got laws passed. He even gave us a booth at the last America Fest and invited me to be a main stage speaker. After I spoke, Mikey McCoy, Charlie's right-hand guy, even came to get me and Marnie and take us backstage for some private time. Charlie Kirk was as confident, polished, and articulate as any world leader, and yet he remained humble and approachable. I've never known anyone quite like him. This episode is dedicated to Charlie Kirk and to share his legacy. I've invited a mutual friend who also is a TPUSA board member as well as a true leader in our NSIC Institute to come back into the economic war room. It's Doug DeGroote. Welcome, Doug. Welcome to the economic war room.
Oh, Kevin, thank you for having me, and it's an honor. Truly a blessing. Thank you.
Well, how are you holding up? I know you were 2 weeks on the road. You heard Charlie was shot. You were there in Arizona. How's it going?
It's amazing. It was a whirlwind. Literally, the moment I found out about it, and then they asked me to get up to Utah, so jumped on a plane, and with Rob McCoy and his wife Michelle, the three of us jumped on a plane in Camarillo and flew directly there. Went to the hospital and greeted the staff and the team and just talked and hugged and lifted them up and tried to encourage and just hold their hands and hold them and pray over them and bless them wherever we could.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Then from there, we went to Arizona the next day, and it was all hands on deck, and it was amazing. We had to make some decisions. The campus, TPUSA's campus was cleared out because of threats, and they were concerned. So the Phoenix Police Department actually showed up Wednesday and basically went through all the buildings, made sure everybody was safe and clean and all that. We then had to make sure we got them, communicated to them, really made sure everything was taken care of there. And Thursday, I flew back, greeted the team, and kind of briefed them on what had happened with Justin and the executive team. I'll tell you, it was amazing to watch how everybody just jumped in. Unbelievable. I'm still emotional about it.
Well, I understand. And I wonder, you were there for so many people. Who was there? You and I were supposed to be talking on a Zoom call, actually, the day that he was shot. And I was supposed to have been on a Zoom call with Charlie the night before.
That's right.
It's just changed the world. I mean, and the response that we've seen is just been incredible. So where things go? What are the people feeling? What was their heart like? What was Erica's heart like? I know you took her to brunch the Sunday after, church and then brunch.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I'll tell you, I think, if I could kind of walk through the process and everything, I will tell you that the team, when we talked Thursday, and I got there about 3:00 at the office, or the Zoom call at 4:00, and there's people spread out all over. Some were in the office, but most people were everywhere else because we're, just bringing everybody back. We really just showed them, hey, we had to give them hope. We had to give them a mission. We had to give them an action item. We had to really bring them together and not let them go off to the desert, so to speak, be by themselves and try to figure this out. And so we brought everybody back in as much as we possibly could, wanted to care for them, make sure that it's all taken care of. And the biggest issue, I think, was just making sure the emotions were there. So we had grief counselors, we had pastors that were volunteering, showing up, being there, brought in food, breakfast, lunch, all of that. The team had a mission. We knew we had to do something and had to respond. And I'll tell you, it was, Friday when they caught the guy. It was almost like there's a mission. There was, all right, here we go. Erica came out, that incredible speech. I mean, that was just, it was unbelievable. Her faith, her strength, her courage, wow, unbelievable. Kevin,
Marnie was watching that with me.
Yeah.
Marnie was watching, and she looked at it and she said, that's a woman who should lead Turning Point going forward. And then just a few days later, we get this announcement, and I look down at the signature and I see my friend Doug DeGroote signed it. You all made a wise decision. I congratulate you for that.
So I wrote that letter. We were getting, calls in from donors and people saying, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And, gosh darn, we haven't even had a chance to really grieve. We were planning the largest memorial service in the history of the world, I think, in modern time. It was unbelievable what was going on. And we were trying to organize all that. I was working with Erica and the team. We have an incredible team. There's a couple of people that quite a few people actually, that I just want to, let them know that how lucky we are to have them. And they know who I'm talking about, and I'll keep their names private. But unbelievable folks that just stepped up and were there every minute of the way. And it's just one of those things that we were planning this stuff. So that Thursday, Andrew said, hey, we need a letter from the board. Can you write something? So that just literally, it flowed off the paper. I mean, I just wrote it and Erica approved it. We sent it out and it was ready to go. And I think, you saw at the memorial service just how capable she is in so many ways. But more than that, she just commands leadership. There's a reason that Erica and Charlie were together. And we saw it early on, being a part of his life and then in turn getting to know her. It was an amazing experience. And, watching them get, date and the courtship and then obviously getting married. And
okay, Doug, that's beautiful. We're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. In uncertain times, finding stability in the economy can feel challenging. But what if you could navigate economic volatility while honoring your biblical values? At Timothy Plan, they believe this balance is possible. Timothy Plan filters its volatility-weighted ETFs and family of mutual funds through a biblical pro-life and pro-family lens, so you can see competitive returns and moral responsibility, helping you to weather the economic storms. With Timothy Plan, align your investments with your values while adapting to our ever-changing culture. Since 1994, Timothy Plan has been recognized leader in biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan, your bridge between faith, finances, and the future. Visit timothyplan.com or call 1-800-TIM-PLAN or 1-800-846-7526. Investing includes risk, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at timothyplan.com.
Gold holds its value far better than the US dollar. Let's see what happens when I go in the sweet shop and pay with gold. Can I pay with gold?
I mean, you can wait and find out how much it costs.
Do you know what? Basically, do you know why I'm even using gold?
I do not.
It holds its value over time,
Yeah.
but it's a bit difficult to spend, isn't it? Do you take this?
Yes.
That's MasterCard. Yeah, but this is I'm actually going to pay with gold, believe it or not, using this. Using this. That's my MasterCard, and it's linked to my gold wallet. So let's just watch that. Authorizing. Yeah, add a tip.
Thank you.
So this is your store?
Yes, sir.
And how much gold did I pay?
0.2243 grams.
Yeah, success. Bought with gold, paid with glint.
About the past 5 months before his death, Charlie Kirk and I were in contact. He saw the greatest threats to Western civilization coming from the Chinese communists, coming from the radical Islamists, and coming from the globalists. We call them the red, green, blue axis. And, you know, by contrast, in New York City, there's a young man, a little bit older than Charlie, but about the same age, 33-year-old Zoran Memdani. And that guy is a radical socialist. He is an Islamist who believes in a 12er like Iran and believes in that. And he's a severe globalist. I want to contrast the difference between Zoran Memdani and Charlie Kirk because they're two young men, both on a mission, one with a mission to take us to God, the other with a mission to take New York City the wrong direction, maybe the world. So to do that, I want to play a clip that Charlie Kirk said about socialism. It's clip number 3, if you could play that, and then Doug DeGroote and I'll talk about it.
Socialism or Marxism, it's not about helping the poor, it's about hating the rich. It's about class envy. You have something that I don't, and I want to take it from you. Because at the core of socialism, Marxism, leftism, nihilism, postmodernism, and the Democrat Party are people that are unsatisfied with their life. They're not full of gratitude. These are discontents. These are people that are not content with their current status, and they want to have power to be able to take from people that they think are better off or happier or more wealthy than they are.
You probably heard that. Doug DeGroote, you're on the board of Turning Point USA. You're a close friend of Charlie's. You probably heard him say similar things to that 1,000 times. Did he mean it?
Absolutely. Look, you know, Zoran Memdani and people like him, the socialists, the left that just continues to breed the hatred and the envy. It's the original sin of envy. This is what they have. They truly envy you and I for our ability to get out there and chase our own dreams and our destiny and literally our ability to be creative and to own our destiny. And that's the problem. And Charlie nailed it. I mean, he's been nailing it for a long time. And these people that see us as a threat to their power because we are uncontrollable, because we create our own destiny and we go out and accomplish and create things that people want. We saw probably to the ring. They're fearful of that because they don't have that ability or don't want to. They don't put the work in. You know, Charlie's favorite word was earn. You had to earn it. And, you know, you heard him talk about that I don't know how many times, but that is the antithesis of socialism, communism, and fascism. They want it given to you, equalized on a playing field, yet they want their power up here while everybody else is equal in misery.
You know, this is a war of ideas. Memdani had his ideas, Charlie has his ideas, but Charlie was about reaching young people and changing attitudes. I want to play another clip. Let's play clip 4.
So first and foremost, you must have a revolution in yourself. You must prioritize the beautiful things and the good things and the deep things and no longer look for somebody just to save you. And that's part of what changing your attitude is. What is the attitude that you have? And the left wants you to have an attitude of defeatist, of cynicism, of nihilism. We, in the book, Right Wing Revolution, we argue that you need to have an attitude that we can save this country, that you can improve your life, that if you don't feel as if you're well-informed enough, read more books, get into physical shape, start eating healthier. All these things are necessary to first change your attitude. The left largely is able to get power because of the power we give them. So, for example, so many people are afraid to speak the truth because they're afraid to be called a racist.
Or canceled.
Or be canceled. Well, stop giving them that power. So what does being canceled mean? You might lose your job, find another one. So what? Find another one. People say, well, that's hard. America was not built on that kind of surrender spirit. So you're going to not speak your mind because you're afraid that somebody might call you a bad name? Yes. Basically, the left...
So, I mean, you say we can say that a girl is a girl and a boy is a boy?
Exactly.
And be biologically, scientifically correct and not get hammered for it?
Precisely. And what we see every single day is people that are willing to shut up themselves, to shut up what they know is true, because they're afraid of some sort of name that they're going to be called. They have a spell that they've cast on the nation. Ooh, you're a racist, so you can't oppose mass migration. You have to resist that, change the attitude, say, I don't care. I'm going to elevate what matters above what doesn't matter.
Oh, all right. Change your attitude. Don't let them cancel you. What else? What else should we be doing?
Well, also changing your attitude is stop being so negative. I find some people on the right feel as if that the inevitable doom cycle of America is unstoppable. I want to be very clear. What we just articulated in the previous conversation is not a death sentence. America is a unique country. It's a bigger country. We have a lot of fight left. We are not surrendering. Look what you're doing, what Turning Point's doing. There's a lot of people out there that still want their country back. And so it's not as if the majority of the country wants to commit suicide. It's that we have a oligarchy that is convincing enough people here or there to do that.
Wow, Charlie was so profound. He was on target. He was like that in person, not just on camera.
That he was amazing to watch him come up, and Charlie had the unique ability to just get through all the clutter and get right to the point. And he was able to filter all the noise out and literally just give it to you in a real simple language that was easy to understand, and the masses and young people got it. I mean, he spoke so well to young people, but to older people like myself. I'm 53 years old, and I've been a fan of his since I met him when he was 19. And I think the big thing that what Charlie is saying is that when you look at government and the policies in Moldani and the difference between the right and the left, or the Republicans versus Democrats, or socialists versus capitalists, is the policies. When we add these policies in to place that take more power away, that actually cripples society, and it makes it harder for people to achieve their vision of who they want to be, their pursuit of happiness and liberty. That is what our country's about. And our founding fathers wanted to put in place a government that would increase the size of man and not the government. And so you can pursue those ideas and those thoughts and those actions of what you wanted to make your life to be. And that's your dream. And that's something, that American dream that we talk about, where Charlie understood that. And we've seen the government over the last, really, since the Johnson Great Society days and a little bit before that, post-World War II, where government just became bigger, and bigger, and the policies in place limited the freedom. It put a stranglehold on capital. It put a stranglehold on the ability for small businesses to achieve what they want. We've seen massive amount of banks close or be bought out. It tightens up everything, makes it harder for people. And Charlie wanted his vision of our country was really a free world where you had the ability to pursue your happiness. And that's really...
Basically, Charlie Kirk brought hope to young people. We'll cover this and more right after this break.
Oh, hi, I'm Kevin Freeman, and I'm here to tell you about coffee. Well, not really, but I'm going to use coffee to illustrate my point. Here we have several different coffees, each with its own unique characteristics. First, we have instant coffee. This coffee pretends to be coffee, but it's not really coffee at all. It's a fraud. Plus, it tastes terrible. I'm out. Next, we have woke coffee. Their coffee actually tastes pretty good, until you find out that when you drink it, you have to admit that you've oppressed other coffees in the past. Insanity. I'm out. Next, we have big tech coffee. Now, these guys used to encourage folks to share with others what they thought about their coffee. But now, if you say you don't like big tech coffee, they'll take away your coffee pot. I'm out. This brings us to Patriot Mobile Coffee, right? This is one big cup of truth and freedom. There's no fraud here. Patriot Mobile is America's real Christian conservative wireless provider. Patriot Mobile gives back millions of dollars every year to organizations that are on the front lines fighting for our freedoms. Patriot Mobile offers the best nationwide 4G and 5G coverage on the same networks as the other major carriers. So you'll get the same great coverage, along with 100% US-based customer support, while knowing you are supporting a company that shares your conservative values. Switch to Patriot Mobile today by visiting patriotmobile.com or call 972-PATRIOT.
We are following to a T every single hallmark characteristic of how a nation decides to no longer exist. Mass migration and open borders, decline of virtue and moral standards, an obliteration of the family or the nuclear family unit, hypercentralization of government power, adventurous, unnecessary foreign wars, and debasing of the currency. Rome followed the same pattern, British Empire, similar pattern. We are doing that to a T, and we're also ignoring the concerns of the domestic citizen and prioritizing the foreigner.
All right, Doug DeGroote, you're a board member of TPUSA. You heard Charlie give that message. He said that America's going the wrong path, and he literally on a path to suicide, and he staged an intervention at college campuses. What was that like?
Yeah, it's amazing to watch just his message just take off like a wildfire. And he just, I mean, the ability to just add fuel to it and to just continue to fight and to be consistent was what made him an incredible force on college campuses, but not only on college campuses, as we saw across the world. I mean, everywhere from high schools to young people to older people. I've had calls over and over from people since this has happened that, hey, they want to go back to church. They want to find their way again. And that is an amazing accomplishment. He's led more people to Christ. And God, liberty is not a government or a man-made deal. You've heard Charlie talk about this before. It is God-made, and God created liberty for us to be able to pursue our happiness, our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Our founding fathers made it clear. And what Charlie's done, and to that recording of his that you have that in your last interview, he set us on a trajectory to kind of reverse things. I mean, it's a 180-degree change from where we were headed 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he wrote a book. He was sharing it when he was here in the right-wing revolution, How to Beat the Woke and Save the West. Let's roll a clip on what the right-wing revolution was all about. So, Charlie,
yes,
let's have a right-wing revolution.
We need it.
What would America look like?
Church attendance would go up. Family formation would continue. Young people would get married at younger ages. The fertility rate would be reversed. We would have less looting, less murder, less stealing. And I tell people, let's look at the 10 Commandments. Let's take the top, the five on one side.
First five. Okay.
Again, I'm a big the second five. The first five I'm a big fan of. No gods before me. No idols. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. Honor the Sabbath. Honor your mother and father. Okay, that's the first five. The second five. Okay, I'm gonna get the order mixed up, but we'll get to the five. Do not murder. Do not steal. Don't bear false witness. Don't commit adultery. Do not covet. Those five. A right-wing revolution would be honoring those five things. We'd have less looting and less stealing. For example, if we had a right-wing revolution in this country, if you stole a toothbrush in a Walgreens in San Francisco, you're going to be prosecuted. No $900 threshold. We're not going to have illegals in our country overrunning our streets. And we'll have a return of virtue in this country.
Now, that's not happening, but it's good that it is.
Exactly. No, I debate these libs, and they say, oh, it's not happening that they're stealing toothbrushes, but it's good that it is because they need it. So which one is it exactly? But no, a right-wing revolution, the beautiful thing would be an elevation. Hopefully would be a religious revival, would be a spiritual revival, would see people putting what matters first and understanding it at a core and fundamental level. And then finally, we would hopefully be able to balance our federal budget, have sound currency, a booming economy. But here's the thing, Kevin. Everything I just talked about is a choice. We could do this. We're the strongest country ever. We are choosing not to do those things. We're choosing to go in a direction. Why? I think it's spiritual. I think that our eyes are being blinded right now by a terrible, terrible force. We can choose to be great again. We can choose to be rich again. We can choose to send our kids back to church. We can choose to get married at a younger age. The beautiful is not an abstract. The beautiful is a choice in front of us.
Well, what's it going to take to get people to say, I want that, I need that?
Well, I think we have to hit rock bottom in some ways, and I think we already have.
We are.
Yeah. The lesson of the 20th century is that if you think things are bad, it can get a lot worse. So we need Donald Trump to win.
All right, Doug, what he just said, the first half of the prescription for America happened with the memorial service. Young people going back to church, saying maybe we do want to have kids. They had a change in attitude. Now we need a change in Washington because we don't have a sound fiscal policy. We don't have economic policies designed. Donald Trump is trying to push them, but we need to have a change in Washington too. The young people revolution now needs to hit the government.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Turning Point USA and Charlie's organization and how it was built and formed, it truly saved a generation of American kids. I truly believe that. But his faith and his courage and his faith, it was his true North Star. I mean, that really, truly was who Charlie was. And I will tell you that, in my opinion, is saved and put Western civilization back on the map and is saving it every day because of his courage to stand up for his faith, to be who he is, to debate people peacefully with courage, without being mad or mean or mean-spirited. He was the most gracious host. I mean, I've seen him. He'd always invite the people that disagreed with him up on mic first and foremost, so they can get it out and say what they want. And he would talk and listen, but he listened with such empathy. It was amazing. And I think that courage to stand there and to listen, and he didn't agree with them or whatever it might be, but he had the ability to talk civilly in a way that would disarm people.
And that's not ending. That's continuing.
No.
At Turning Point USA is going to continue, and it's going to continue to impact young people. How do people support Turning Point USA?
That's exactly it. Please go to Turning Point USA, TPUSA.com. Go there and please support Turning Point. Kevin, I know you guys can put the website up on the show and all that. Please go there, support it. That is something that is not going to stop. We are going to hit that all the time. This is the base. That's what Charlie believed in. I mean, he truly was the master of this. He could sit there and listen, and the whole campus, prove me wrong tour. We're going to continue to go out there. Obviously, it's going to be different people all over. We got JD Vance doing 2 of them. We just did one the day after his memorial. Tyler Boyer and the team were up in Minnesota, and it was unbelievable. It was over capacity. Everything went smooth. There's no fighting, no yelling, no screaming, no protesting. It was people wanting to hear.
His voice is going to be louder in his death through Erica and all these other people honoring his memory than even it was in his life, which is an amazing thing. All right, we've got this project that we'll be announcing soon on saving civilization. And Doug, you're doing terrific work at Turning Point USA. Thank you so much for honoring his memory, but also carrying this important group forward. My congratulations and thanks to you, Doug DeGroote and TPUSA. All right, we're going to summarize all of this in our free economic battle plan. You get a copy of this at economicwarroom.com. Remember, what we see as a marketplace, our enemies, they view it as a battle space. This is Kevin Freeman from the Economic War Room.